I've said this before, and I'm going to say it a lot today. Merry Flipmas, Auburn fans. Your next Auburn Tigers commitment for the 2023 class is on the board. Let's talk about who that is, the first of a wave that's coming today, and what it means for him and Auburn football. But before we do that, we always want to remind you to smash the like button if you enjoy this type of content. Be sure to leave a comment down below as you're watching or listening today. It will help enter you into our ongoing subscriber giveaway. There are details listed in the description if you need information about that. And lastly, always want to thank members of our booster club like Ryan Reese, who help produce videos like this. This cannot be stated enough times. This is only the first commitment that we're talking about and the first video we're doing of a huge recruiting day, Sunday, December 18th, after a huge weekend that started on the 16th. Your Tigers are adding to their class, flipping from other teams in the process. Your next commitment and flip, defensive back Sylvester Smith, formerly committed to the Tennessee Volunteers. With so many great things happening, it's hard to keep it all straight. So I think I got my numbers right here. This is the fourth at the time of this commitment. Remember, there's more coming out that we're discussing from later in the day, but the fourth commitment flip that's happening for the Hugh Freeze era so far, which is huge. The fact that you're flipping from schools at all, but much less power programs, power SEC programs like Tennessee. Smith is a four-star defensive back from Munford, Alabama. Munford High School is where he played his high school ball. And the relationship started for Auburn further back. His commitment for Tennessee actually was back on like April 26th. So this has been something that has slowly been working with the previous staff, but obviously highly maximized by the current coaching staff under Freeze at Auburn. A little bit more about this prospect that's part of the 2023 class. First of all, he's planning to be an early enrollee, so look for that official signing coming up very soon. We list him as a defensive back, but technically most people expect him to play safety when he arrives at the college level. Listed about 5'11", 195 pounds. In terms of athleticism that this guy has shown, not just being a defensive back or safety, he also played running back, return man, and quarterback, a lot of quarterback in his senior year at Munford High School. He even made it to the All-Star game for Alabama versus Mississippi, being one of those honorees at that game. But lastly, some stats from his defensive back role that I know you'll be interested in from his senior year in high school. 42 total tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 2 pass breakups, and 5 interceptions. Now that you know a little bit about the player, let's talk about what it means not only for him, but for Auburn going forward. And as I've already said, lots of commitments from today. This is just the first one, the first series of videos that we're going to be doing about all those. So what it means for the program could rapidly change here. We're going off what we know at the time of his commitment. The 14th at that time commitment for this 2023 class that we're going to be discussing, the 7th overall on defense, the 4th defensive back, and technically the 2nd safety. We'll talk about that technically in just a second. Now, when we talk about future playing time options, how quickly we could see them on the field, I always stress to you, make sure you plan on these guys redshirting so you're not disappointed if you don't see your favorite recruit out there on the field super early. But there's always availability for playing time for guys at this position, not just at that specific defensive back position, but maybe on special teams. But right now, when you look at the depth chart, you've already seemingly got 2 starting safeties in Donovan Kaufman and Zion Puckett. You got guys like Marquise Kilbert and also Caden Bridges and many others as well that may fit into that mold. And depending on what Auburn does defensively under their new defensive coordinator, we could have a nickel position, all that kind of stuff. So you never really know what is available and who he could beat out to be part of the depth chart. We always like to talk about where are these guys coming from, especially in battleground states. And this is the most important battleground state because it's your home state of Alabama. You want to make sure you take care of your own backyard. Now, Munford, Alabama is technically east of Birmingham in the Oxford area. It's a region that Auburn has had a lot of success in. So it's not super surprising that Auburn's able to pluck him from out of there, but you always want to see Auburn continue to have success here. I'm just happy that we went into our home state and showed success getting one of the best commitments and best recruits from the state. And lastly, let's talk about that defensive back class makeup right now, what his commitment could mean for the rest of the cycle. So currently, as I said, we have technically 2 safeties because Terrence Love, depending on who you look at, is going to be listed as a safety or a linebacker. My inclination that he's still probably a safety. So let's just go with that for right now. You've also got 2 cornerbacks in J.C. Hart, but also the recent one in Colton Hood. We've done a video about both of those, but especially Colton Hood that you need to go check out if you haven't. So really, when you look across the board as a recruiting class right now, you got 2 safeties and 2 cornerbacks. That doesn't mean that we're done. This is kind of like wide receivers and many other positions also, where you want to have lots of options. You really take anybody that you can get because sometimes these guys are just pure athletes and you want to have them on their team. So we'll see what happens, but right now we're looking pretty good at the defensive back group. So that's my thoughts on your brand new commitment and flip from Tennessee, Sylvester Smith. Would love to know your comments down below in the comments section about what you think about this commitment. Be sure to do that for that subscriber giveaway sign-in process, as well as being subscribed. That's part of it too. As always, check out the links in the description for ways that you can help support us here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. War Eagle.